Now, it is time. Let our game begin. I wish you all the best of luck. Let our game begin. The speaker went silent and did not speak again. Silver yelled at the speaker with language coarse enough to embarrass a sailor. But the rest of Junpei's companions were silent, deep in thought. Junpei, too, was consumed by his thoughts. There was a great deal he didn't understand. Who was Zero? What was the non-airy game? Why had he chosen to make them part of it? Was he a criminal who took delight in playing with his victims? Or did he have some other purpose? And why had Junpei been chosen as a part of this insane game? Why had any of them been chosen? But one question was foremost on his mind. Akane. They hadn't seen one another since elementary school. Why had she appeared now? Coincidence? No, that seemed impossible. There had to be a reason. He didn't know what it might be, but there had to be a reason. Very well. The lion's voice seemed oddly loud in the silence. Standing around here won't do us any good. Best we get moving, don't you think? Get moving? Are you planning to open the numbered doors? Hey, wait! Don't tell me you're actually going to do this. The Zero says. No, that's not what I mean. The lion shook his head, mildly annoyed. I'd be annoyed by that girl, too. I'm saying let's find another way. After all, we haven't really examined this place yet. What? Nope. Oh, I guess that's happening. And it took them 15 minutes. Their separate investigations finished, all 9 people returned to where they left one another. The result of all their work was nothing. They were completely sealed in. Their hard work had not gone completely to waste, however. They had learned a number of things as they skirted the part of the ship they could reach. It seemed that they were confined to decks A through C. Alright, C deck was as far down as they would be able to go, however. The reason being, I'm sure that is because that place is flooded. Completely submerged. Strangely, however, the water had risen no higher than D deck. The flow seemed to have been stopped somehow, as evidenced by the surface of the water on D deck, which was as smooth as glass. The prince knelt down and gently drew his hand across it. Perhaps Zero Fellow has used some sort of remote control to seal a watertight door lower down. He said that our limit was 9 hours. In other words, the water won't rise for 9 hours. Then you're saying we won't sink till then? Well, that may be a little too optimistic. No point to wishful thinking. There were 3 metal doors on C deck. A single door stood off the side, with 2 more on the wall facing the central staircase. None of them had numbers or verification devices. They were, however, locked like the other doors. No matter how much they pushed and shoved, the doors refused to move. The mountain and lion threw themselves against them a few times, but to no avail. I like how, they never introduced themselves yet, so we know them as mountain and lion. The door in the back had a keyhole. Just above it was a strange mark in the shape of a circle surrounding a dot. There were 2 other doors on C deck as well, but it was clear they were elevators, as each had a button next to it with an upside-down triangle. They tried pushing the button. No response. Oh, of course! That's not a surprise! There's no power to the elevators. To the left of the elevator doors was a card reader. Hey, it's the Saturn insignia. Okay. It looked like a lowercase h with dash drawn across the upper stem of the H. As anyone knows Sailor Moon, that's the thing for Saturn. This is a symbol of Saturn. It's an astrological symbol. Then the mark on the door, on the other door. I think that was the sun symbol. They had seen the same symbols on A deck. There was a door on either side of the stairs. The one on the left had a keyhole with a similar symbol engraved on it. This is an Earth symbol. The horizontal line symbolizes the equator, and the vertical one represents the prime meridian. Well, that's pretty cool to know. Junpei looked up at the ceiling. Ah! There was a great circle cut in it, perhaps for a skylight or a glass dome, but it had been filled with a gargantuan metal plate. The metal looked very solid. Anything short of an explosive charge was unlikely to damage it. This place has been remodeled and redone for our enjoyment. Even iron windows! Jeez! This guy means serious business. They had to go through those doors. We're trapped. All the exits go nowhere. Junpei was not happy. Junpei unhappy. The girl with pink hair spoke up. Well, I'm sure they go somewhere. We just can't open them. Then the mountain spoke. You don't know that. For all we know, they just open into walls or take us in circles. The prince did not agree. No, I'm sure they go somewhere. Otherwise, what point would there be? And we can open them. Well, 2 of them at least. Yeah, the 4 and the 5 door. You mean the numbered doors. All eyes turned toward the doors with numbers on them. The atmosphere in the room grew tense. Hey, wait a minute! I think I said this earlier, but I don't think we should do that. The dancer moved in front of the doors as if to block them. We'd have to be crazy to open these doors. If we do that, we're doing exactly what Zero wants us to do. Suddenly, everyone began to speak at once. I agree. I don't. That's a terrible idea. We should keep going. We should stay here. We don't have any other way to open any of these doors. We should just wait. Someone's bound to come find us. We don't have time for that. In 8.5 hours, this ship is going to sink. The clamor of voices made it next to impossible to determine who was saying what. Their arguments grew more and more intense, until people were shouting and screaming at one another. Junpei had remained silent, but at last he could take no more. Hey! Shut up! They fell silent, and all eyes turned to Junpei. Awkward! He felt each stare burning into him, but he refused to flinch. Before we try and decide where we're going to go, there's something else we ought to do. What's that? We need to exchange information. We don't know anything about each other. I want to know who you guys are. Who you are, where you came from, why you ended up here. Don't tell me you aren't curious, too. They were silent. Some of them looked the other way, or bit their lip, or crossed their arms and stared at the ceiling. But one of them spoke up. It was Akane. I agree. I think Junpei is right. Junpei? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about him. I just call him Junpei. His name is Junpei. Junpei. Thank you for calling me Junpei in front of everyone. That's an awkward way of doing it, Akane. Alright. We're childhood friends. We went to the same elementary school. Wait, stop. Don't tell us stuff we didn't ask you about. Zero's probably watching us right now. What are you gonna do if he's listening in? Would that be bad? Hell yeah, it would. We don't know how much that bastard knows about us. Maybe he just picked a bunch of random people to kidnap. If that is the case, then it'd be dangerous for us to let him know too much. If Zero knows who we are, he could go after our families. Maybe he'd tell us he'd had him get us to do stuff, you know? But we still need to know what our names are. It's gonna be hard to talk to each other if we don't have names. Alright, then why don't we have code names? To him, apparently it seemed like the obvious solution. Code names? Yeah, we'll each pick some. Like, I'll be 7. 7? Why are you 7? It seemed a fair question. The mountain stuck out his left arm. 'Cause his bracelet number says 7. Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's a good idea. He smirked. Alright, I'm gonna be Santa. Any of you chumps know Japanese? No? Well, San means 3, so I'll be Santa. You know, like Santa Claus. Fits, don't you think? Because you're all white, I guess. And then your bracelet number. Yeah, it's got a 3 on it. Good job, Grandpa. That's not nice. Just like the mountain had done, Silver thrust out his left hand. Sure enough, the face of his bracelet read 3. Very well then. I'll go next, shall I? My bracelet number is 1. I like this guy. He's really nice. And we're calling him Ace from now on. Better than Lion. I'll be Lotus then. As I'm sure you all know, it has 8 petals. Which means, of course, that my bracelet number is 8. I would appreciate it if you would call me Snake. Wow, his thing's weird looking. My bracelet number is 2. Since Ace has chosen cards, then I choose dice, Snake Eyes. Clearly, which is particularly relevant given that I am blind. Whoa, you're blind? No wonder why he looks like he's sleeping all the time. They pulled a Brock on him. He kept his eyes closed during their entire ordeal, which had suggested something strange, but to hear it say so casually, it was nothing of a surprise. Everyone seemed a little nervous at the prince's proclamation, but no one seemed to know how to react to it. There was one person, however, who didn't seem to be surprised in the least. The girl with pink hair. Oh god. My throat. Ah. A lot of reading. I want to be Clover. You know, like a 4-leaf clover? Good luck, right? Looking almost bored, she held out her left hand. That's a big watch on her. They come around to Junpei. He held out his bracelet. Alright, my number's 5, so my codename is gonna be... Why have one? It's not like there's any point to it now. Wow, what a biznatch. Can I have fun too? You're Junpei. Uh-oh, what a way to ruin my fun, woman. Jeez. Connie stepped forward nervously. This is your fault, you know. Then you should all call me by my name too. Because, I mean, it doesn't seem fair to Junpei? You're thinking it's not cool for you to hide your name after you told us his? Akane fidgeted awkwardly. They're putting her on the spot. That's not nice. She didn't know. What's your bracelet number? It's 6. She hesitated for a moment, then held out her left hand. As she claimed, the bracelet's face showed a 6. Junpei looked at it for a moment and thought. Alright then, well, why don't we call you June? Yeah, you know, it's the 6th month of the year. So you're June. Junpei. Akane kneaded her hands and looked up at Junpei, uncertain. He smiled back at her reassuringly. Are you good with that? She thought about it for a few more minutes, then seemed to come to a decision and gave Junpei a small nod. Their names decided, Junpei ran over them quickly in his head. 1 was Ace, 2 was Snake, 3 was Santa, 4 was Clover, 5 was Junpei's number, Akane was 6, and Junpei had given her the codename of June. 7 was 7 because he's a very unoriginal human being. And 8 was Lotus. That meant that 8 of them, including Junpei, had revealed their bracelet numbers. But there was still one person left. He was the man with glasses and hair like a bird's nest. He hadn't said anything since they met on the stairs, and he didn't look like the sort of person who was inclined to conversation. He looked like a teacher. His skin was pale, his breathing was heavy, and he was soaked with nervous sweat. His behavior seemed very suspicious, or perhaps simply emotionally unstable. It was difficult to tell. Whatever the case, it seemed clear that he had only a fingertip's worth of grip on his sanity. The girl with pink hair, Clover, walked up to him slowly. She put her hands on her hips and eyed him suspiciously. What number are you? He didn't answer. His bloodshot eyes twitched from person to person. His breath became... Is he, like, really having a heart attack? Like, an asthma attack or something? Because, he needs to chill. We're all getting chill here. You might as well be friendly with us. The man licked his dry lips with his shaking tongue and spoke with a voice like old paper. Isn't it obvious? There are 9 people here, and you know who numbers 1 through 8 are. I'm the only one left. So you're 9? Yeah. He extended a trembling arm. The bracelet did indeed say 9. Clover looked at it contemptuously. What's your code name? Code name? What do you want us to call you? We all made up names. You should too. I don't need one. Why not? Because I'm not going to stay here with you. He took a shuddering breath and exhaled. Clover looked at him with something very like disgust. You've got some sort of plan? I do? Yeah? What's that? You sure you want to know? Yeah? Alright. Let me show you. I'm going to do this! And Clover is in trouble. Oh boy. By the time they realized it was what he was doing, it was too late to stop him. The man's body moved like a snake's. In the blink of an eye, he had slid around behind her and wrapped his arm around her waist. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Santa leapt forward toward Clover and the 9th man. He was halfway there when... Stay back! Suddenly, the man's hand drove into his pocket. Really? You carried a pocket knife with you? Oh, God. This is so wonderful. He held it to Clover's pale, quivering neck. If you get any closer, I'll cut her open! Santa skidded to a halt. He snarled at the scrawny man with the knife and gritted his teeth. Yes, that's right. The man's smile was neither friendly nor reassuring. Sweat poured down his neck, soaking the collar of his shirt. Clover, are you all right? The prince, Snakes' voice sounded oddly concerned. Yeah, I'm fine. Her voice shook, making her words even less convincing. What the hell are you trying to do? I told you, this is my plan. What are you gonna do to her, you sick son of a bitch? Don't worry. I'm not gonna do anything to her. If she just does what I tell her to, I'll let her go. He started to move backward, slowly, keeping his grip on Clover. Keeping their distance, Junpei and the others followed. Eventually, the man reached a wall. He gave the start as his back touched it, then glanced around and quickly spoke. Verify. Huh? The left. Look on your left. Do you see the device on the wall? Place your hand on the scanner panel, the round part. What if I don't? The man's nostrils flared, and he looked like he was about to choke. Are you an idiot? What do you think? I could slit your throat right now. I'll kill you if I have to. All I need is your bracelet. Wow, this man is not playing around. Just do it! Do it now! He pressed the knife against Clover's neck, hard. Slowly, she stretched her left hand out toward the device. Her back was to it, and she had to feel around for a moment before she found the circular panel. It made a cold electronic noise, and on the display above her head, an asterisk appeared. Her hand, an asterisk appeared. So that's how it works, Junpei thought to himself. I gotta sneeze. Pardon. By placing one's palm on what the 9th man had called the scanner panel, the user's bracelet number could be entered into the device. Should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets and find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number of that door, the door will open. Junpei shifted his eyes to the door itself. The number on it was 5. The 9th man seemed to know a little more about the device's operations than he should. Yet how he had known exactly what to do. Good, you're done. Next. His bloodshot eyes crept from person to person until finally they stopped on the lion, Ace. You, right? You're the one with the number 1 bracelet, right? Yes, I am. So? Then you're next. Just verify your number like this little brat did. What are you doing? Do it! Don't you care what happens to her? Okay, just calm down. Ace held up his hands, palms out. The 9th man jerked his chin toward the device. Slowly, cautiously, Ace moved toward the device. This is not going well. We were all trying to be friends here, kind of. After what seemed like an agonizing eternity, he reached it. Now, verify. Ace nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. His hand's huge. The device beeped again, and the second asterisk appeared. Now the device had Clover and Ace's numbers, 4 and 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. The same as the number written on the door, but it wouldn't open just yet. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. The door needed at least one more person. Who would that be? Get back! His voice shook, but the knife he held to Clover's throat made his words a command. Ace took 2, then 3 steps back. No! Farther! More than that! Go all the way back! Slowly, Ace did what he was told. The 9th man's lips curled into a cruel, twisted smile. That was when Junpei understood his plan. Clover's 4 and Ace's 1, added to the 9th man's. 4 plus 1 plus 9 equals 14. 1 plus 4 equals 5. In other words... Thank God you all were so cooperative. Now I can get out of this nightmare. He pressed his own hand against the scanner panel. A third asterisk appeared on the screen. He dropped his hand to the lever on the side of the device and pulled. And the door opened. Wow. The door opened with a heavy metallic groan. He let go of Clover. Wait! Junpei leapt toward the 9th man, but he wasn't fast enough. The man shoved Clover. Ah! And hopped through the door. What a douchebag. What's that beeping noise? I'm going off ahead now. Well then, goodbye. He raised his hand and waved, a twisted smirk on his face. Then he was gone. That beeping noise is coming from him then, if the sound's gone. Then he was gone. The door ground shut with a dull clank of metal on metal. Clover! Are you all right? Snake ran to Clover's side as she lay on the floor. Yeah, I'm fine. She climbed unsteadily to her feet, and once there, leaned heavily on Snake's shoulder for support. Junpei ran to the door. The others followed him. Several pairs of hands grabbed hold of the handles and pulled. They grunted and strained, but... There is no way you're opening that door after that. Shit! It won't budge! That was when Lotus, the dancer, spoke. Her voice was quiet. Do you hear something? Like what? Like some sort of beeping. Junpei pressed his ear against the cold metal of the door. The others did the same. There's that beeping again. What is it? Then they heard something else. It was the 9th man. Shit! Why isn't this stopping? God damn it! You lied! Lied? What are you talking about? This wasn't supposed to happen. This is wrong. This is wrong! His voice shook with fear. Oh, well, gee, now you're gonna feel like a douchebag, aren't you? This is what happens when you do things like this, kids. Don't do it. What is happening in there? Oh, open the door! Please! Yeah, you know what, you're gonna beg now after what you did with Clover? Oh, please. I wouldn't open that door even if I wanted to. If I can. It looks like we can't, though. Junpei grabbed hold of the device. It says engaged on top of it. Nothing happened. Why didn't it register him? He looked at the display where the asterisk had shown up. It said engaged. Nope. Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! There's no time left! Listen! I was lied to. He lied to me. He put me in here. It was him. He killed me. Killed you? You're not dead yet. Oh boy. And... that was not healthy. Oh boy, that sounded wonderful. Okay. The explosion rocked the room. Instinctively, they ducked, then stood up slowly when they realized there was no danger. No one spoke. Silence filled the room. In that silence, the electronic tone that echoed across the room sounded as loud as a gunshot. All eyes turned toward it. It had come from the device mounted next to the door. The display changed from engaged to vacant. Let's see if we can open it. 7. The mountain swallowed hard. Junpei nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. A red asterisk appeared on the LCD panel. The device had registered Junpei's bracelet number, 5. This was not enough, however. At least 2 more people were needed. Junpei asked, which pair? Alright, so I don't think it really matters with this because they all equal 9. So, I'll do, Ace, I'll do Snake and 7. Snake, 7. You think you could give me a hand here? The pun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. Both Snake and 7 lifted their left hands silently. Slowly, each of them placed their hand on the scanner panel. 5 plus 2 plus 7 equals 14, and 1 plus 4 equals 5. They'd fulfilled the conditions. If they were to pull the lever on the side. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna open it. Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. They stiffened and nodded. Oh, I'm so not ready for this. Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. Then he slowly lowered